The ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine is a tale of two nations, bound by history, divided by ideology, and engaged in a struggle that has spanned decades. This is not a recent feud, rather a deeply entrenched conflict rooted in centuries of history, culture, and religion. It's a story of two peoples, both laying claim to the same land, each with their own narratives, their own traumas, and their own truths. In the late 19th century, the Zionist movement emerged, seeking a homeland for Jews in response to centuries of persecution. Meanwhile, the Arab Palestinians, who had been living in the region for generations, saw this as an encroachment on their homeland. The seeds of conflict were thus sown. Fast forward to the mid-20th century, the establishment of Israel in 1948 marked the beginning of a full-scale conflict, with multiple wars fought and peace processes attempted, yet a resolution remains elusive. Understanding this historical backdrop is crucial to fully appreciate the complexity of the current situation. The intricate web of political, religious, and cultural factors that drive this conflict make it one of the most enduring and challenging issues of our time. The events of the past 7 months are just the latest chapter in this long-standing feud. The recent escalation began on October 7, 2023, when Hamas launched an attack on Israel. This marked a significant turning point in the already tumultuous Israel-Palestine conflict, as Israel Defense Forces, or IDF, found themselves forced to enter Gaza in response to the aggression. The IDF's primary task was to engage militant groups operating from the enclave. With the goal of neutralizing the threat to Israel's security, they found themselves in the heart of a conflict which was about to escalate dramatically. The operations were intense and multifaceted, involving not just ground troops, but also a series of airstrikes that have since become a daily occurrence. The impact of this conflict on the people living in the region has been profound and far-reaching. Gazans, in particular, have borne the brunt of the suffering. Almost 2 million Gazans, which is more than 85% of the population, have fled their homes since the beginning of this conflict in October 2023. This displacement of individuals and families has led to a humanitarian crisis of significant proportions. As the IDF's ground operations began to decline in intensity in the early part of 2024, the airstrikes did not. Daily, the skies over Gaza are lit up with the terrifying spectacle of exploding ordnance, a stark and painful reminder of the ongoing conflict. The fighting and shelling remain particularly intense in areas such as Deir al-Bala and eastern Rafah, leading to further displacement and casualties. The IDF ground operations may have declined, but the airstrikes and shelling continue. This ongoing violence serves as a stark reminder that while the tactics may change, the reality of conflict remains for the people of Gaza. The conflict has taken a massive toll on the civilian population, with almost 2 million Gazans fleeing their homes since October 2023. This mass exodus, representing more than 85% of the population, is a stark illustration of the devastating impact of the fighting on everyday lives. The Gazan exodus is not just about numbers. It's about families torn apart, homes destroyed, and lives irreparably changed. Children and the elderly, the most vulnerable among us, are often the hardest hit, facing the brunt of the hardship and uncertainty. Amidst this turmoil, the death toll has been heartbreakingly high. Recent estimates from the Gazan Health Ministry suggest that around 34,000 lives have been lost. Relief agencies valiantly working in the area warned that the actual numbers could be even higher, a chilling thought that underscores the gravity of the situation. These relief agencies are the unsung heroes of this conflict, tirelessly providing aid to the affected population despite the immense challenges. They navigate through the dangers of an active war zone, risking their own lives to bring food, medical care, and a glimmer of hope to those in need. The work they do is both crucial and commendable, yet they are often hampered by the limited resources and the sheer scale of the crisis. The human cost of the conflict is staggering, with the death toll continuing to rise. The conflict is not just confined to the borders of Israel and Palestine, it has sparked increased regional tensions across the Middle East. As the Israel-Palestine conflict escalates, the ripple effects are felt far beyond the epicenter of violence. Countries across the Middle East are grappling with the fallout, their relationships strained and their diplomatic prowess put to the test. The conflict has become a litmus test for alliances, with nations aligning themselves along ideological and strategic lines. The fault lines are deepening, and the political landscape is shifting. Take, for instance, Iran, a long-standing ally of Palestine. The conflict has heightened Tehran's anti-Israel rhetoric, and its support for militant groups in the region is more pronounced than ever. On the other hand, countries like Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, despite their historical support for the Palestinian cause, have been noticeably subdued in their response. This can be attributed to their recent normalization of relations with Israel as part of the Abraham Accords, a diplomatic initiative spearheaded by Jared Kushner during the Trump administration. These accords, however, are now under scrutiny. As the violence escalates, the question arises, can diplomatic agreements hold up under the weight of human suffering? Meanwhile, the conflict has also sparked a rise in sectarian tensions. The Sunni-Shia divide, already a volatile fault line in the Middle East, has been further exacerbated. The battle lines are being redrawn, and the stakes are higher than ever. Amidst this turmoil, international diplomacy plays a crucial role. The United Nations, the European Union, and major world powers are scrambling to broker a ceasefire and negotiate a resolution. But their efforts are often hampered by the complex web of regional politics and alliances. In essence, the Israel-Palestine conflict is not just a war between two nations. It is a Gordian knot of international politics, a microcosm of the tensions, alliances, and power struggles that define the Middle East. The Israel-Palestine conflict has far-reaching implications, affecting the stability of the entire Middle East region. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex issue, with no easy solutions in sight. It's a long-standing dispute, steeped in historical grievances, contested territories, and differing interpretations of justice. Its roots run deep, and its impacts are felt far beyond the region's borders. The recent escalation, triggered by Hamas's attack on Israel in October 2023, has only added another layer of complexity to this ongoing struggle. It's not just a battle of military might, but a battle of narratives, of histories, of identities. And while the intensity of ground operations has lessened since the start of 2024, the daily Israeli airstrikes and the persistent fighting and shelling serve as stark reminders of the conflict's unceasing grip. The humanitarian crisis unfolding in Gaza is heartbreaking. Almost 2 million Gazans, more than 85% of the population, have been displaced from their homes. The death toll continues to rise, with estimates from the Gazan Health Ministry placing it around 34,000. Yet, these are not just numbers. They are lives lost, families shattered, futures stolen. The ripple effects of this conflict have also been felt across the Middle East, sparking increased regional tensions. From the political maneuvering of former US President Donald Trump to the diplomatic efforts of Jared Kushner, the Israel-Palestine conflict continues to shape and be shaped by wider geopolitical dynamics. Looking ahead, the prospects for peace seem elusive. The path is fraught with challenges, from the need for mutual recognition and respect to the resolution of contentious issues like settlements and borders. Yet, despite the odds, hope persists. For it is only through dialogue, understanding, and compromise that a sustainable solution can be found. As the world watches and waits, the struggle between Israel and Palestine continues, a testament to the enduring complexity of this long-standing conflict.